This is the Transparency Podcast Show.
If you're watching on YouTube, you're going to realize we are not in our normal studio to record. And the reason being is I just want to show that trans people are living as trans person every single day. And it's not for show. It's not for entertainment, or it's not for TVs or any sort of things like that. So trans people are living their life 24/7, 365 days a year. So as we've been going through all these special shows these past month, I'm very grateful to have Shang Avinash to come to the show to be visible for trans men, to tell his side of story, and also he wrote a book, The Missing Piece.
Stories that I'm telling are stories of trans masculine individuals that are not told, while simultaneously telling the education of what it takes for trans men to actually receive rights. Mm-hmm. And on top of it, it kind of gives a manifesto of some of the things and people that I've met throughout history, especially here in LA, and some of the untold stories, some of the heroes, icons, and mentors that I've run into. And especially, even where I grew up as a DJ at Oxwood, what I'm talking about in my book is kind of how the patriarchy kind of takes over spaces, mm-hmm. especially trans spaces and lesbian bars. Because for me particularly, before I identified as trans, I did have an experience as a lesbian, mm-hmm. living through that world. And most folks don't know this, but the Oxwood was actually one of the oldest lesbian bars in the entire country. Mm-hmm. It's where I learned my grounds as a DJ and community, and how I learned how to really be a part of the community in that way. And it was really challenging to kind of watch it fall apart in the way that it did, just purely because of finances.
Right.
I talk about it in the book. One of the mm-hmm. highest grossing nights there was actually the trans night when I was a DJ. And that's when the bar made the most money. Right? No, it's okay. No, get your flowers.
Jessie McGrath, she's a lawyer, and she very strong about advocating trans community, and she even went back to her home state, Nebraska, to make our voice to be heard.
And so I took some time off, went back to Nebraska. I testified against this bill, which is LB 574. Mm-hmm. The sports one was LB 575, but it never made it out of committee.
Oh, okay.
LB 574, as it was introduced,
right.
Banned gender-affirming care, mm-hmm. Any surgical procedures,
right.
puberty blockers, cross-sex hormones, and I think to the extent even it was no therapy. It wow. was very, very damaging to trans youth's access to healthcare, and it was similar to bills that were introduced in other states.
Lastly, I have 3 of my personal friends that came to the show, and we kind of did like unscripted episodes. It was so much fun.
Yeah.
Like what Vicky just described, and Tina. Yeah. And what about you?
Well, Kim? Most guys, when you go to a bar and it's a trans bar, the guys know that you're trans anyway, right?
Right.
If you go to a regular other bar, then maybe they may think you're a real go or not. I probably won't pass that way. But if you go to a trans bar, and then guys will go up to you and, I don't know. I think some regular guys think that trans girls are easy. So they try to not pick you up, but try to buy you a drink, all that good stuff.
I remember back in the day at the Queen Mary, in that back bar, the girls would be all in, and then the guys would light up on that back wall and just watch.
Wow.
They won't even interact. They just watch.
Around 1:30, like all bars, I'm sure. 1:30, everybody starts looking good anyway.
Yeah.
Right? Because the closing time is at 2:00. So then they start making the rounds, right? And
then they start talking. Yeah.
Then they start talking to you. And, they're trying to,
Yeah.
So
it's kind of like a fairy tale, right?
Yeah. It was that like that?
Yeah, it was epic.
Epic, really?
Well, we all really like. I mean, you had a very beautiful relationship. Sometimes things come to an end, and it's very hard to get your arms around it. But look, in my search, I discovered one app that you swipe left or right. So this guy messages me. Okay, let's meet. Oh, I live in an apartment in Newport Beach. The apartment was really, really nice, right? So I'm trying to find a parking spot, and there's nothing, right? Okay. There's absolutely nothing. Okay. So I call him, and I'm like, okay, I'll come down. I'll get you. I'll find you a parking spot. Okay, he comes down. He was cute, young. Right. Okay, he jumps in the car, and then I start backing up. And then he goes, stop. I cannot get out. I have a one of those monitors they put for like parole. Are you serious? My parole officer is going to find out. So I'm like, okay, just get out. No. Oh my God. And he was nice. I mean, he didn't look like he was going to kill me or anything.
Even though Pride Month ends, but our lives continues. That means we're not gonna be, detransition after the Pride Month. So, as we all know, like we've been through a lot of politics issues, changes, or even attacking trans community. And one of the reason also is because I want to record this particular episode in my own home, in my own space, is to tell people transitioning. A person decides to transition. It's personal decision. It's not politic. It doesn't affect any politician. How we live, how we identify ourselves. It's our life. Politicians just want to use us as a target to misinform the public, to misguide it, to redirect the real problem in our country, USA. These politicians, they don't know any trans person in their life. So whatever they are talking or try to present to use their power to go against trans people, it's very unbelievable. It's very ignorant, because to me, or to everyone, we should think this way. If, let's say, if that person, politician or whatever person, does not know any trans person, any trans individual, they don't even know what they've been through, and they don't know what kind of difficulty, challenge that we have to face, right? So everything they're put on the media, put on the news, it's basically opinions. It's not fact, right? So the way they do it, it's mostly try to gain, your vote, our vote, right? And also it's kind of like giving the public, general public, average people, to have the right to bully trans people, right? Because personally, I've been, starting this journey about 12 years ago, and I consider myself very blessed, very lucky, and I have supportive friends, family, and all that. But they've been through many challenges, no matter if it's at home, family, or even at their job, at the surrounding. Some other states are more not even so very open to trans people. They often get discriminated. They often get even violence. Like years ago, I have a personal friend that she was murdered. And, so what I'm trying to say is, politician, you should be focusing on solving a bigger problem, right? We have inflation problem. We have geographic politic problem. We have foreign policy problem. We probably even gonna, devalue our US dollar currency. So these are very, very major problem for USA. Not LGBTQ plus community, not trans people, because statistically, like we're talking about numbers, right? I'm a business person. So, how many trans people in our country or even just worldwide? It's considered very small. So if your policy agenda or even your, when you try to run a campaign, put us as a main problem, from your word.
This episode is brought to you by Kitcaster. Kitcaster books you on top podcasts. How do funded startup founders attract prospects and talent? Podcast interviews. How do entrepreneurs with exits find new deals? Podcast interviews. How do C-suite execs differentiate in crowded markets? Podcast interviews. Kitcaster books you on top podcasts. Click the link in the show notes for a special offer. Celebrate good conversation.
That doesn't make sense, right? So if you consume to televisions or you consume to the mainstream media, you should really think about this, right? For example, Tennessee, they probably only have like 3 to 5 trans people in the entire state, and they're willing to spend your tax money to go against trans people in Tennessee. Does that make sense to you? Right? Just 3 to 5 people, and you spend all this time, all this money, all this media coverage just for that, right? So that's the part that I want to bring it, for people to really see the truth, the fact, or even drag queen and trans people are not the same, because drag performer is more equivalent to like a entertainment, like a show, like for example, if you enjoy comedy, stand-up comedy, it's kind of like that. It's just like a showbiz, right? Trans people, as I mentioned in the beginning, this is our life, right? We live 24/7, 365 a year. And drag queens, they only drag when they go on the stage, right? Like RuPaul's, they have that reality show. They are just doing that for the show. So get misinformed, or they just assume, or so I really want to bring this out, so I know we often get mixed together, but it's totally different. They're not trying to identify themselves as a woman or a man. They're not identify. They are not born into their biological body. It's not aligned with their gender identity. So it's totally different. Okay. So back to the drag queen. As we all know, many people, mainstream people, or even this is coming from the politicians, that LGBTQ, trans, or drag queen are grooming our children. Okay, it's not true. Nobody is going after anybody's children or anybody's kids, because kids these days are very informed, meaning they have more access to informations online, as we know. And because of that, they tend to be more smarter, and tend to know more things at early age compares to other generation like boomers, Gen Z, Gen X, even millennials, right? So bottom line is, if a child or a kid that they felt that they are not aligned to their biological gender, they feel they are transgender. Okay, do you know that there's no way that a kid can just transition and taking hormone therapy or even surgeries? Okay, because there's a procedure. Okay, not just kids, even adults like myself, 47, we still have to have that procedure from the doctors, from the clinic, to go through, each steps. For example, if you want to take hormones pills or hormone shots, okay, we have the doctors will set up labs for us to go do the lab to see our blood pressures and see our hormone levels. We want to be balanced. If a person, kids or adults, if they want to start hormone treatment, there's a certain procedure and steps, labs, also even therapists, they want to know if this is what you really want or this is what you really are, So the media, the news, the politicians saying are influencing the kids or influencing teens, and this is a cult. Some people say that. This is all not true, and this is not even based any realistic facts, because the doctor will not laugh out procedures. Okay, so politicians should not get involved with this, because you don't even know what's the procedure. You don't even know what's the background, what's what doctor requires and how they read the charts and everything, right? So you misinforming the public. Okay, so in result, it's make us life very, very difficult, very, very challenging. Okay, and also religions. Okay, everybody has our own beliefs or religions, which is fine. We respect that. But when it gets too extreme, I personally really think it's not healthy, right? In our society, I'm personally, I'm a Buddhist, and I grew up in Buddhism. Okay, and I do encounter Christians. I have friends that are Christians, and I went to the church with them just to see what is it about and everything, and I might make my own decision and make my own choice, right? And to me, that doesn't really fit me. Okay, fine. I just walk away. I don't hate them. I don't want to attack them. I don't say anything in that negative way, right? So everyone has their own belief, and it's healthy. It's okay. But when you get to extreme, and then you believe like all other religions or all other people, ethnic backgrounds, or any colors, or any type of human being shouldn't be existent, you have to eliminate it. Then that's the wrong religion philosophy that you should follow. I really think if some religion is telling you to go attack, bully, or even kill other people, that's not a philosophy or religion that you should follow, right? Does that make sense? I hope it does. No matter what religions that you believe, no matter which party, political party that you support, you believe, or you belong to, we are all human beings. Trans life matters. Everybody's life matters, right? So I want to close this episode with really bring out these points, these different voices from what you usually hear or watch on the television, right? Because you don't know your reaction. You don't know your action might really hurt somebody or ruin somebody's life. Okay, because we're facing a lot of discrimination, access to healthcare, economic challenges, and legal issues, right? Personally, I just experienced one just recently in June 2023. Okay, like I mentioned earlier, throughout the past 12 to 13 years or so, I never, ever had any problems being a trans person, being a trans woman. I do get weird questions, or some people still call me sir, man, bro. Okay, but that's just minor. But when when a politician is to tell the public it's okay to bully LGBTQ plus community or trans or even drag queens, you are just letting everyone to be violent. You're okay for people to attack another human being. Then I don't really think that makes sense. So the personal experience that I had was, I had my name change, I had my gender change, gender change on my ID, my social security, even my neutralization certificate, because I was an immigrant and I'm not born here. So when I was trying to get a benefit from my healthcare, and they realized that state of California, believe it or not, state of California does not want to honor my name and gender change from 2016. Okay, it technically is state of California's mistake, right? Because everything, all my information's all aligned, all changed, and their system somehow, somewhat didn't pick up. Okay, and like I mentioned, my name and gender change was back in 2016. It's not last month. It's not yesterday. Okay, I will understand if I just changed it last month or even last year. Okay, and the system didn't pick up. But this is 2016 we're talking about, right? And this is just so, I was so shocked because they want to see the court order. Okay, fine. I can get that. Okay, I can dig to my files and find that. But they also asked me to submit my birth certificate. You know how's that so ridiculous? Because I am a legal U.S. citizen since, I don't know, 30 plus years. Okay, and I have neutralization certificate also changed to my new names and gender, right? So there's no way, okay, that I can get my birth certificate because I'm an immigrant from Taiwan. Okay, and I've been here, I don't know, 30, almost 40 years, and I'm not even a citizenship in my country anymore. So how can I get birth certificate? So bottom line of this, telling you, sharing my own personal story is, it's mind-boggling, okay? It's emotional, it's frustrating, okay? Because I don't want to, I hate to present myself as a victim, because some people watching or listening to this, or any other trans people, when they try to have a voice, they might think, oh, these people are just crying out loud and they just try to feel sorry for themselves or something like that. But me personally, I do not like to be present myself as a victim. I want to embrace who I am, right? We all should do the same, right? We want to be diverse. We want to love everyone, right? So telling you this story is not try to make you, the listener, or people who's watching this video, to feel sorry for me. It's I wanted to okay. Even in state of California, believe it or not. So, no matter what, I will, go find a way to fix this, because I really think this is very unfair and this is very discriminating towards me. And, the person, whoever is working in this, the state, it's basically, they are just not, they're not following the court order. So if that person cannot follow the court order, can we all not follow it as well? Probably not, right? So I'm just saying, yeah. Okay. So to close this show, I just want to let the audience, the listener, know it is important to recognize that this issue does exist and does affect people's life. Okay. People's life. It's not a show. It's not entertaining. It's not TV or movie. It's our life. Okay. So we all have, parents. We all have people who love us just like you do. And we all, try to contribute to our society, contribute to our community, right? We also pay our taxes as well, right? So if you want to be talking to a politician, hey, I pay my taxes too, right? I contribute to the society. So I have this issue. Don't you think I should be able to have your support? I should have my solutions. But instead, I get bullied, I get discriminated, right? That doesn't make sense, right? Because I really hate to say this, but I really feel our world is upside down, right? People who contribute to this country, people who contribute to this society, they are not taken care. And this is wrong. This is wrong. And people who may not contribute to this country, and they get all the benefit. Just think about that, okay? Anyways, all right. I'm just gonna close this show, and I really, really thank everyone who's been listening to us, listening and watch us on YouTube and all other platforms. And I really appreciate all your supports, and continue to support us. And if you can subscribe to our podcast on any platforms, or even subscribe to YouTube channel, it will really help us not just grow this particular show, but it will have more audience. The algorithm will actually help us to have more people hear our voices and hear what's the fact, not the opinions, right? And this, I've been hosting this show for a year and a half now, and we start the show. I just want to, in the beginning, I was just want to continue to advocate for trans community. And at the same time, because I want to share my, I have passion for business, financial. And so I was like, I want to share this skill that I learned and knowledge to everyone in trans community, or even allies or any other people who's watching and listening. So next season, next phase of Transparency Podcast Show, it's going to be a little bit different. First of all, I officially invite Shane Ivan Nash to be the guest host of this show. He's a trans man, and the reason I make this decision is because I feel, trans, right? We have trans men, trans woman. If I'm a trans woman, if I don't have a trans man, then it's the missing piece, right? It's imbalance, right? So I'm a very inclusive person. So that's why I think for Shane to join our hosting team, it's going to be very exciting. It's going to make this show very, very different. The dynamic is going to be very different. And I'm also thinking about, have a panel, like we can talk about the current events or some topic, and not just from my point of view or not just from my voice. We have like 4 or 5 people on one show, and everyone share their thoughts, views, so it'll be interesting. So I look forward to do more shows like for you guys, and all I do in return is just please share the show, subscribe. It will really help our show to grow. It will really have our voice to be heard, to be out there, to be visible. Okay. Again, thank you for watching and listening to our show. And we will be back with Shane Ivan Nash. Thank you again. For our show.
I can sign for your show, yes, of course.
And we're going to put it as part of our decoration. Is that okay?
Of course.
And I know you do a lot of things like musicians, DJ, advocate, and now author.
Yeah.
Do you have room for one more position and this too?
Because someone on city staff said maybe I should run for city council, so maybe I might do that.
I was gonna ask you something.
Yes.
Because this show is about trans communities, or anything related to trans, and I feel you mentioned about invisible man, so I would like to invite you to become our guest host.
I am so excited for that. You have no idea.